Deflategate? Yes, and you don't even have to be a sports fan to care about this story. It's really a story in human accountability. So we know the report is finally out. The NFL spent a lot of money and commissioned all kinds of experts to figure out who really was deflating those footballs. Or who knows, maybe the gas law that was invoked by Coach Bill Belichick was correct. Footnote, not at all possible, less than a 1% chance of that happening. No, it turns out that at the center of the controversy of who was deflating footballs in playoff games and probably many other games on behalf of the New England Patriots and their player Tom Brady, their quarterback, was a locker room attendant and an equipment guy, right? Two people who no one ever heard of. And then the report says, and of course, while we can't prove it, it is highly probable and entirely likely that quarterback Tom Brady was aware of what was going on. First of all, read the report. It looks like it's a lot more than quite likely. It looks like it's a dead-on certainty. It also looks like a moment we're reminded of a much older story, a biblical story, the story of the scapegoat. You know, the Israelites are out in the desert. It's the Day of Atonement. 2 goats are picked, and 1 goat is sent off into the desert to carry the sins of the larger community away, while the other goat is protected and a symbol of connection to all that is good and pure in the community. Well, the scapegoat here was Tom Brady, the bigger goat, the better goat that was kept aside and spared any shame, it seems to me, has got to be Coach Bill Belichick. Does it really make sense that the most dialed in and often portrayed as most controlling coach in the entire NFL didn't know exactly what was going on with his most important player, star quarterback Tom Brady? Does it really make sense that a coach who, although I've never heard him say it personally, have heard him in 2 talks come very close to saying, if you're not cheating, you're not trying, who talks about taking every possible advantage, isn't in any way implicated in this? So what's going on? I think whether the biblical story of the scapegoat or the story of Tom Brady being implicated and Bill Belichick not being implicated is really one and the same. At any moment of crisis, we want to find someone to blame. Someone who's big enough and important enough that we feel if we could send them off, we would be purified. And at the same time, protect enough of what we love most that we don't feel we ourselves have been wounded. It seems to me, though, that if this really is the drama of the scapegoat, we should remember that sending 1 goat off into the desert was a symbol that invited the entire community to reflect on its own sins, what it did wrong. So maybe this is the moment, having spared Coach Belichick and sent Brady off a cliff, for all people connected to the sport to really ask, are we getting closer and closer to a culture in professional sports, and in the NFL in particular, where we feel if you're not cheating, you're not trying? And is that really what this is all about? When Vince Lombardi said, winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. Right or wrong, it seems to me that everyone believed he meant only if you're playing by the rules, because that's what actually elevates the sport. And anything short of that is a shame. Let's be clear, Brady's entire legacy, and he is a great athlete, shouldn't be defined by this one moment. But it is a moment for fans of sports to look at ourselves and ask, what is it we really value about sports? And how do we keep the sports we love as great as they are meant to be?